as the year goes along, you know, it's like
That was very depressing.
wait till the end of the year. It's gonna be lights. Oh, it's okay.
One more time.
Camera, no, never mind.
Light. Camera. Depression.
Okay, so we're going to talk about converting. If you recall, there are three types of equations, right, for straight lines. So guys, I'm going to have to stop my lecture soon, and if you guys don't put the toys away and so Brisa, you got to put it away. I'm sorry, just put it away. Like really, don't play with it during my lecture. Okay, this is a really important lecture. If you do that, you're not going to get any of this. You will be lost, right? You'll be lost. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, and so Rico and Basie, I need you guys to try not to talk to each other. Really focus today, right? Logan, right? I'm really asking you guys to not do a lot of side talking, okay? I really need you to pay attention. So we have three types of straight line equations. We have slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. We have standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. We have point slope, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And so we need to know how to convert from one type of equation to another. It's really important because on tests, like in SAT tests and stuff, they will often, instead of just ask, write an equation of the line going through these 2 points, they might say, write an equation in slope-intercept form, but I didn't teach that. I taught you how to do it in point-slope form. So you got to know how to do it in point-slope form and then convert it to slope-intercept form. Okay? So, yes?
No.
You need a pencil?
No, I didn't.
Can you wait? So I'll
Yeah,
lecture maybe?
That's
All right. So I'm going to give you some equations that are in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and we are going to convert them to standard form, okay? So here's the first one. Since I labeled that 1, I'll call this A. So y equals 2x plus 15. All right, I want this to be standard form, but notice slope-intercept form is y equals. The only thing on the left side, the only variable on the left side is y, right? Actually, that's the only thing at all, completely. Standard form has your x and your y on the left side of the equal sign, right? So I've got to move this x to the other side. Yes, Luke.
Can you do like minus one?
So there's only, well, there's only two ways to move something from one side to the other, and it's either add or subtract. Since that's a positive 2x, I'm going to subtract 2x, right? I'm going to subtract 2x from this side, subtract 2x from this side, and I get negative 2x plus y is equal to 15. That's pretty easy. Basie, you writing this down?
Yep.
Make sure you do. Is that in standard form?
Yes.
Yeah, that is in standard form. Totally. Is it okay to have this a negative? Yes, it is. And, whatever. So that one was easy. Let's try another one. How about y is equal to 4x minus 7. All right, and I'm asked to convert it to standard form. So I want the x's standing on the same side as the y, right? So I've got to move that 4x over. It's a positive 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x. I'm going to subtract 4x, and that gives me negative 4x plus y is equal to negative 7. Is that in standard form? Yes. Now, could I, if I wanted to, I would be fine with that as the answer. I mean, that's probably what I just leave it like that. Some people like to have as little negatives as possible in a standard form equation. So if I wanted to have less negatives, what could I do? Yeah.
Do you multiply everything by the negative?
Yeah, I could multiply is that what you're going to say, Rosemary?
Yeah.
Multiply or divide everything by negative 1, right? If I did that, because that's totally legal, and then that would give me 4x minus y is equal to 7, right?
Yeah.
And that's a little more common to what you usually see with a standard form equation, right? They try not to have too many negatives in it. Yes? Okay. All right, does that make sense? Fist of 5, we all together so far?
Pretty easy.
It's pretty easy, right? All right, what if I gave you this? Let's do one more. We'll do one more. How about y is equal to negative 5x plus 10? All right. Again, it says y equals, I want my x on the other side, right? So, Logan, please. So you're going to add 5x, right? Because this is a negative 5x. So you got to add 5x. Add 5x. And that gives me 5x plus y is equal to 10. And that's easy. That's great. We're done, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Okay, I need them put away. I'm not, no more. Okay. Rubik's Cubes somewhere else. Move them. On the floor, something. D. Now we're going to make it a little harder. So pay attention. What if I gave you this? Y is equal to 1/2 x plus 6. All right. What would I do? Jan, what would you do?
Still just subtract 1/2.
Sure. Still subtract 1/2 x from both sides. Subtract 1/2 x from both sides. And that gives me negative 1/2 x plus y is equal to 6. Now, the only thing is we're not done. How have you seen standard form ever written with a fraction?
No.
Yeah, it's almost never written. Actually, that is in standard form, right? The x and y's are standing on the left side. But just traditionally, we don't leave it as a fraction. Okay? So, Rosemary, what could I do?
Divide or multiply that. Yeah.
Multiply everything by the denominator, right?
By negative.
Yeah. You could do either. You could multiply by -2 or 2. I think I'll just choose 2. What?
If you wanted less.
Yeah, I'll just do it times 2. So I'm going to multiply this times 2 and this times 2, right? So the 2's cross out. So that just gives me negative x plus 2y is equal to 12. That looks like standard form, right? You see the difference? You've got to get rid of that fraction. And then it's standard form. All right, so that's the first one.
That's pretty easy.
All right, they're pretty easy.
No chance of that. You already did.
Now we're going to do the reverse. Okay? Can I erase?
No.
Did you? Am I in your way, James?
I wrote it down.
Okay.
I got it.
It's all good.
So now we're going to convert the following equations into slope-intercept form. Okay? So this is number 2. Convert into slope-intercept form. Okay, so here's A. What am I doing? Oh yeah. So 2x plus 5y is equal to 10. All right. Slope, this is in, what form is this in? Standard form. And I want it to say y equals. Okay, Gardner, what would you do?
Okay, so first what I would do is I would subtract 2x.
All right,
To bring
so
it.
clearly that's in the way, right? That x. We want the x on the other side. So let's do that. It's a positive 2x, so we're going to subtract 2x. I go to the other side of the equal sign, subtract 2x. And that gives me 5y is equal to, can I say that's 8x?
No.
No, good. Negative 2x plus 10. Right? We're almost there. Does it say y equals?
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Why is it that when you subtract 2x, why wouldn't it be 5y equals 10 minus 2x?
Or would that work also?
You can do that, and you will sometimes see that in books. And you would still consider that slope-intercept form. The problem with it is I like consistency. Do you know what I mean? If you're always consistent and you always put your x's first, you don't take any chance of forgetting which one is your slope, right? Your slope is always that first number in front of the x, and your y-intercept is the second number. If you wrote it the other way around, you're going to get confused. Some of you will get confused. So I like to put my x first and then the number. Does that make sense? It's a great question, Stacy. Thank you for asking. So I wanted to say y equals. So what do I do now? Yes, Irene. Yeah, right. That would solve it. So I'm going to divide everything by 5. Everything by 5. So that means this crosses out. That gives me y equals, that's awesome. I've got negative 2 over 5x. So I'm going to say negative, and then I'm going to write 2/5 x plus 10 divided by 5 is 2. Yes? Pretty easy, right? Easy.
Are we only going to have one of these conversions on our homework tonight? Or are we going to practice them one by one?
You're going to have all of
So
them.
I have a question.
Oh my
You're going to
god.
have all of them, yeah.
How do you convert it from point slope?
Well, we're getting there. That's a great question. We're getting. Let me think. Let me just look at some of these problems. Okay. So let's do one more like this, and then we'll do some point slope. Okay. I just want to be sure. Because let's see. Let's say I gave you 3x minus 4y is equal to 16. What would I do? Mushi, what would you do?
Minus 3x on both sides.
Minus 3x on both sides.
And
Right? Hang on, let me catch up to you. Negative 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 16. What would I do now?
then you divide by -4.
Yes. I don't want that negative there because I don't want to say negative y. I want to say y. So I got to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. So what does that give me?
Y equals 3/4 x plus 4. Negative 4. Negative 4.
Minus 4, right? Is that slope-intercept form now? Okay, we're done. All right, now let's do C. Let's say I gave you y plus 4 is equal to 2 parentheses x minus 8.
Geez, Gary, I don't think we can handle it.
This is point.
It's all not.
This is point. So he needs his hat off so he can see, right? Because he's right. Make sure you're writing this down. Come on, write this down.
I have it all down.
All right. So that is in what form? Point slope. So I wanted to say y equals. So what do I have to do?
Subtract 4.
Luke. Or Sian, go ahead. Say.
Well, first wouldn't you do the distributive property?
I would first do the distributive property because I could subtract 4, but
Yeah.
then I'd have to have the 4 over here off to the right. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather use my distributive property right away to get rid of my parentheses. Right? So y plus 4 is equal to 2x minus 16. Now, Sienna, what would you do?
Then you would subtract 4.
Right. Subtract 4. Subtract 4. That gives me y is equal to 2x minus 20. Right?
Yeah.
Am I done?
Yes, no, yes.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
Right? They're really easy. These are really easy to do.
No, yes, shut up.
Yeah, they're really easy. You just have to do the distributive property and then move the 4 or whatever over to the other side, right? Very easy. So let me think. Let me look at my sheet again.
Ah. They call me.
And we're going till 10 minutes. Okay. Let's do one more like this. Hang on. The guys, it's starting to get more and more noisy, so just notice. How about I do this? Y plus 2 is equal to 2/3 x minus 9.
Wouldn't it just be 2/3 x minus 6? Yeah.
Okay, so y plus 2 is equal to 2/3 x minus, let's think about it, 9
Minus
Minus
that.
six.
Six.
Gary, it's 6.
Guys, right? It's 6. Gosh,
Yeah, take too long here.
I don't know why you guys are always wrong. Right? Okay, 6.
It's y
Okay.
equals 2/3 x minus 8.
All right, so now I'm going to subtract 2. Subtract 2. Y is equal to 2/3 x minus 8. All right. Can I erase? Can I erase?
No.
Yes,
No.
yep,
No. Still writing. Stop. No. Stop. Gary. No. Stop. Gary.
That's pretty simple.
Convert.
No. Stop. No. Stop. No.
All right, now we're going to go back and convert to standard form. This is number 3.
That's my turn. I mean, that's my turn.
Number 3. This is like number 1, only we're going to go from,
But standard form is the same thing.
guys, I'm going to wait. We're going to go,
Stop.
we're going to go from point slope to standard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right?
Oh no.
So, here we go. A. Can I erase this now?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
No.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, here we go. Y minus 7 is equal to 1/3 x plus 6. Okay. I'm asking you to convert this to standard form. Right? So let's think about it. This is point slope, and I want it to be standard form where I've got ax plus x and the y's on the left side of the equal sign. So what is the process? James, what would you think?
Could you do distributive property?
Okay, but you're right. But what is the process that you're going to do? What is your plan of attack? Okay, Gardner.
So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do distributive property like James says.
Right?
And then I'm gonna bring my 1/3 x over to the side that has y on it, and then bring my -7 over to the other side.
Okay. So in essence, what he's talking about is he's saying convert it first to slope intercept form, really, right?
Yeah.
And then it's easy to convert it to standard form, right? In essence, right? So we're going to do our distributive property. So we've got y minus 7 is equal to 1/3 x plus 1/3 of 6 is 2, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe,
My chair fell.
Pull out your chair.
Oh no!
are you okay?
That's my forward knocked fell.
Oh.
Continue.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just continue.
Fine.
How do you fall?
So go ahead and get up. Everybody's in the
How did you fall?
No.
You weren't sitting.
I wasn't.
Then how do you
Okay.
I
don't
don't
fall out
know.
of the chair?
This is going out to the world, right? So
This is great.
I fell out of a chair.
plus 7. Why are people talking?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just funny. It's James. Blame James.
I'm not doing anything. I'm writing stuff down.
Why are you all talking?
Not your mouth hole.
When I ask that, it's sort of a sign that you should stop talking, all of you, not just make jokes about James falling out of his chair, right? Just stop talking. All right, so now we have it in slope intercept form, right? So Rico, what would you do now? We have it, remember, we're trying to go to standard form. We want to have the x and the y on the same side.
You divide the 1/3?
Well, I have the x to the right of the equal sign. I want the x to the left of the equal sign. So how can I move 1/3 x to the other side? Over here. How would I do that? Wait, don't worry about it. Everybody put your hands down. I'm not calling it. Okay? You're making them nervous. So basically, to move this over to the other side, you only have two choices. You add them or subtract them. And this is a positive.
Add the 1/3 and
Well, this is a positive 1/3 x.
so Take it over.
So you gotta subtract it. You gotta do the opposite. Since it's positive, you gotta do negative 1/3, right? So it's gonna be minus 1/3 x, minus 1/3 x, and so that gives me negative 1/3 x plus y is equal to 9.
It ends clock.
Okay, basically, what would you do now?
What I would do here, I can't really see.
Guys, it ends in, we end in 7 minutes.
I wouldn't really do anything. Isn't that correct? Isn't that the standard form or no? Not yet.
Why is that not correct?
Oh, you have to multiply the 1/3 by a negative 3, and those cross out, and then you get 1x plus y equals 9.
What was wrong with what he just said, Sienna?
He didn't multiply both sides by
You gotta multiply everything by 3, not just the fraction, right? And I wouldn't multiply it by negative. I would just do, I would multiply this times 3, this times 3, this times 3. The 3's cross out, that gives me negative x plus 3y is equal to 27, and we're done,
Yeah, we're not.
okay? And I think that's all you need to know, okay? Now, fist to 5, you guys understand this?
26.
All right, good.